Okay, we are going to continue talking about simplification of expressions, but we need to take into account a very important component that usually happens or you run into it often, and it implies the use of parentheses, and inside the parentheses you see variables. So what happens? In this case, the expression inside this parenthesis is going to be multiplied by a number outside, by a coefficient. The thing is, take a look at this. Since 3m and -6 are not like terms, it means you cannot reduce it to just a number. And what is the problem here? Because of that, eventually you cannot multiply that number by that 8 to produce one number or one term, which means that it has to be indicated. With that said, the only thing I can do now with the expression that you see here that goes like this. This expression inside the parenthesis multiplied by 8 will be added to the product of this expression inside multiplied by 4. And then we will see what happens in the multiplication process. Anyway, we need to remember how to do a distributive property operation. In this case, this number 8 is being distributed and multiplied by both of these terms inside. So this is how it's going to work. I'm going to multiply 8 times 3m, and then we multiply by this -6. I just want to clarify something. You could say 3 minus 6, and you could say it's a -6, it's a -6, it's a +6. You can interpret that in two ways. You have 3m plus -6, which eventually can be simplified to this form, right? Just so you know, I don't get confused between the negative sign and the minus on the operation. All right, so let's do this. 8 multiplied by 3m. It's 3m's multiplied 8 times. That is going to be how many m's, let's say, instead of m, let's say that you have chairs. So bunches of 3 chairs. If you have 8 bunches of 3 chairs, how many do you have? You're going to have 24 chairs eventually, right? So that's the result of this multiplication. Then 8 multiplied by this -6. You can just take it like that. -6, that's going to be a -48. Then we're going to proceed and do the same thing with the other term. We always need to take into account the negative or positive, the signs. It's really important. In this case, we're going to consider that 4 is a positive number, and look at what you see inside. 5 is negative here, and we have kind of a -m, right? So 4 times -5 is -20, and 4 times -m is -4m. Now, we have a new expression that has no parentheses already. However, you can see, and this is really important, that this expression can be simplified further because this 24m has a like term that is -4m. And when you put them together, 24m minus 4m is going to be 20m. Consequently, and now we're going to take a look at the constants. We have -48 minus 20, that's going to be a -68. And this is the result because we cannot combine these two, all right? Keep that in mind and be very careful as you finish the process. And then if you cannot go any further, that's the simplest form of that expression.